This week on Unapologetic Uplift.
It's going to be messy. It's going to be imperfect. And all of it is wonderful.
Gossip is gross. I can't get down with it. And I'm just not interested in those types of conversations.
People who talk about other people, that's shallow.
It's not healthy to not talk about what's going on.
But just seeing them and their energy brought me back.
You're not crazy, right? Your feelings are valid. And that's important too, because as we're healing and navigating, we can make ourselves wrong.
True leadership is setting the example.
It's like you want to do everything perfectly and it never feels like you're good enough.
There's a part of me that's afraid to come off as too serious because people won't think that I'm fun. And there's a part of me that wants to also be the fun girl. I need to love all the parts of me, including the shadow parts.
Have you ever walked into a room and nobody says anything, but you can tell that there's somebody pissed off? That is energy.
Get ready to rise above the noise and unlock your true potential. Welcome to Unapologetic Uplift, the podcast that's all about keeping it real and helping you live your best life. Buckle up, get ready to learn, grow, and evolve with us on Unapologetic Uplift. New episodes released weekly.
I'm your host, Kim Staples, joined by my stunning co-host, Ianthe Mauro. Welcome. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to see you because we've had a little bit of a break. And for those of you that listen every week, you noticed. And if you didn't notice. So just forget that I said that. But what's nice is when we have this podcast is you and I get to have deep conversations. And I love the fact that there's that saying I heard about people. How was it? It was something like people who talk about other people. That's shallow. It's not a high vibration. And people that talk about ideas and talk about concepts, philosophy, the way they're feeling, that is actually higher vibration, and that leads to better friendships with a lot less toxicity. And I think it's one of the things that I love about our podcast. We've never sat here and talked about people. Like I can't even imagine doing that. I can't even imagine. I love the concepts we get to.
Yeah. And yeah, gossip is gross. Like I can't get down with it. And I'm just not interested in those types of conversations because it does have really gross energy about it. It feels like, ooh.
Yeah. And I will say there are times when we have to process something that's going on that is interrelational. Like I'm going to give you an example. I actually got this really, that feeling when I touch my heart as my heart necklace. I touch my heart when I say this, but there's that feeling of like, ouch, when someone that you've been close to or admired or felt like you gave your trust to has somehow betrayed you. And I watched, and I think that I'm above getting pulled back in when I feel like I've been betrayed by someone. But the other day I saw something that someone commented, and that's a person that I don't feel safe around anymore. And the comment they made, which was not on my own post, had nothing to do with me, but just seeing them and their energy brought me back into that ouch feeling. Now that's something, and so that's not the same as gossip. So I'm showing you an example. So I could say to you, Kim, it really felt yucky yesterday because I saw her make that comment. I wish I hadn't seen it. And then you can say something to me to help me come back to center. And I just want to say that is very healthy. And that's very different from gossip. And I do think we need to process sometimes the way that we're affected by others. And that's not the same as talking about other people.
Yeah, that's a good point because there was a time on my own healing journey when somebody's behavior was harmful to me and I felt like I couldn't talk about it with anybody because I didn't want to be gossiping. And I did end up talking about it with some of the people that were closest to me, but I could see how that could really trip somebody up and not wanting it. coming from that like healthy place of I don't want to gossip and create the rumor mill, but also this happened to me and I need help processing it and understanding it. They are very, very different. And it's not healthy to not talk about what's going on. And I think being able to decipher the difference is important. This is like you're not coming to talk about the person from a place of fear and judgment. You can still have this conversation from a place of love and understanding
and self-compassion, feeling like, oh, I really need to be compassionate for myself, and wanting to have a witness in someone that you do trust, in a friend that you do trust, to what it is that you've experienced to help you shift out of it, I think.
Yeah, and know that you're not crazy, right? Like your feelings are valid, and that's important too, because as we're healing and navigating, viewing the world from a place of love and compassion, we can make ourselves wrong when we notice that people are doing things to us that we don't appreciate, or we're being treated in a way that we don't appreciate. It's complex and there's so much nuance to it, like everything in this big, beautiful world. But yeah, I think just checking ourselves and making sure that we're coming at it, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of, like you said, compassion and viewing things from a place of love and understanding, which doesn't mean that we have to be okay with the things that people are doing that we don't agree with or that feel wrong to us, but just understanding that. And this has been a big theme in my life as of recently, actually.
Oh, interesting. I guess I picked up on that energetically because I don't know where this came from, but
you must have, because we recently talked about how homeschooling has been this next level of healing for me. And I caught myself spiraling in this perfectionism, this place of perfectionism, and being solely responsible for my kids' everything. It's like you want to do everything perfectly and it never feels like you're good enough. And I spoke about how it has caused me to really face a lot of conditioning and limiting beliefs and all the things that I thought I faced in entrepreneurship, because you would have always heard me say before that entrepreneurship has been the deepest shadow work I have ever done until I started homeschooling. Needless to say, while I was spiraling in this perfectionism and this need to be everything, I found myself really harshly judging other parents.
Oh.
And really harshly judging the parents of my kids' friends. They're not present enough. They're not, and ultimately coming from my own wounding of not being enough. I was judging them as not being enough. And it really led me back to what I believe to be foundational in spirituality. Doesn't cover everything, but it's a really good foundation. And this has actually led me to creating a whole curriculum for my kids based on A Course in Miracles. Mm. So while I don't believe A Course in Miracles is the be all end all of spirituality, because it doesn't address things like the shadow and all of those really important things, it does teach us to view the world from a lens of love rather than fear. And the whole premise is you either show up in the world viewing things through the lens of fear, and then there are all of those secondary emotions and behaviors that result from that, or you show up in the world viewing things from the lens of love and understanding. And again, this doesn't mean that we are like these saints that can be walked all over, but it means that we have this understanding that while somebody may not be as conscious as we are all in the same school of life, school of awakening. We just might be in different classrooms, and understanding that everybody learns at different paces. So this was another wake-up call for me, and another example of how healing is not linear. And we are never immune to things like judgment and all the things. But I was harshly judging them, and to the point where I was like, supervision was a big thing for me. I like to have eyes on what's happening with my kids when they're playing with friends. And this is one of the reasons we don't do sleepovers. But I was like obsessing over it, where I'm like, they cannot be unsupervised for any amount of time with their friends, which also isn't healthy. Like, kids should be able to go off in the room and play Barbies or do the things, right? And it's like, because their parents aren't conscious enough and they're going to be a poor example on my kids. And like, it was getting really harsh. And I'm like, okay, whoa. This is crazy. If I am teaching my kids the foundational values of what I believe, and I am their primary attachment, which means they look to me as their primary influence because I work day in and day out to connect with them and to instill the values that I believe. They should have such a strong foundation that anybody coming in trying to influence them,
I pity the fool who tries to influence them.
will have no bearing, right?
That's right.
It's like, hello, let's take it back to basics here. And I do know that my kids are freaking amazing, and they're not going to be swayed by other kids making decisions that aren't in alignment with their values.
That's right.
And it's not about controlling them. It's about being the leader and leading with these strong values and love and compassion that allows them to be these great little humans. And they, rather than being influenced, can actually be leaders themselves and have a positive influence on these kids that, for whatever reason, aren't learning the same things that they're learning and developing the same skills and values and so on and so forth. So all of that to say, yeah, I was judging from a harsh place, and it didn't feel good. It actually felt terrible
Feels
in
awful.
my body. Yeah. And then it just led me into this like, whoa, where else have I been doing this in my life? So it's like another level of awakening, I guess, and just really coming back to those basic foundations of, am I looking at this with the lens of love and compassion and understanding? And I mean, and I want to be crystal clear in that this does not mean not having boundaries and allowing people to just treat you however you want, but understanding that they're just learning, and I can wish them love from afar and hope that they find their light again or whatever the case is.
And sometimes I want to say that so many things to unpack on what you just said, so many beautiful, juicy bits that you gave us. One thing is, true leadership is setting the example, like you said. It's not forcing or controlling others to do what it is that you want, which includes your own children. And true leadership is modeling. And I want to acknowledge you for the way that you're showing in real time what it is to be a true leader, which has nothing to do with controlling and pointing a finger and saying, do this, do that, go there, go this, but everything to do with how you are as a human being, as a mom, as a woman, how you are showing up for yourself. And that is what is informing your children, because they learn from example, as everyone does. And a true leader exudes their power without having to ever say a word and tell someone what to do, because people are naturally drawn to what it is that you're doing, and they're seeing it as something that they want to emulate because it's a beautiful thing. And I just want to say that's what you do with your kids. And it takes incredible emotional intelligence, massive humility, and massive trust to do that, Kim. It's not for the faint of heart to say, I'm not going to tell my kids what to do. I'm going to show them by doing it myself. That is it's like amazing to actually do that. It's one thing to understand the concept, but you're actually doing it. And I hope that I'm doing it. It's what I want. It's my intention.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that and for seeing me in that. It's not easy, but it feels right. And at the end of the day, we are here to share life with these little humans, not control it. It's not about us dictating. We're here to enjoy life, and we get to do that with you.
And it goes back to even what we started this conversation on, which was friendship and how to be, how to deal with getting hurt by someone who we thought was a friend or trusted, and not to become gossipy about that. And the way that I think this all connects is when we are focused more on how are we healing ourselves and how we're showing up in the best possible way that we can, we're putting way less focus on, well, what are they doing? What did she do? What did he do? What are they saying? That just becomes, it's inconsequential because we are saying with everything that we're doing, everyone has their own path, their own higher power to protect and take care of them, and their own inner guide and inner wisdom. And who are we
Yeah,
to step in there and say,
totally.
forget it?
Yeah, and we have fought to be able to live this way, to be soul led and to let our hearts and our intuition guide. So, who the hell are we to stand in the way of the most pure humans, children,
Yes.
from being able to
Yes.
do that, right? Let's
And in
nourish
friend,
that.
exactly. And with friendships too, like you said, it feels so yucky when we're judging others. It just feels bad in our body. So we know that's a sign, people. Like, if it feels awful, it is not okay for you. Maybe
Yeah.
someone else can, I don't know what other people can do, but I know for me, like you can, I'm extremely sensitive. And if I start gossiping because it feels good in the moment to gossip, or I'm angry, or I'm in resentment, which is very low frequency things to be in, it feels so awful in my body. And I get this, like, I don't like myself after that. I don't. And I don't want to ever give myself a reason to hate myself or not like myself, because
Mm.
that is so damaging. And I'm done with that. No, I need to love all the parts of me, including the shadow parts that sometimes get petty and want to point out how others, aren't doing it the way that I would think they should. But in the end, again, it just doesn't feel good. And that's enough. Like, that is enough of a reason for us to stop doing those things.
Yeah, and it all
And
stems
yeah,
from fear. It all stems from fear, and it perpetuates the cycle of fear, because when you're gossiping, you're probably worried that the person's going to find out that you're talking about them. And it's just so toxic and unhealthy. And we all can fall into that trap, though, of judging and looking through the lens of fear. So rather than being hard on yourself, when and if you catch yourself doing this, let's show ourselves compassion, which is where it always has to begin. And remember that I can look at this differently. This reminds
yeah.
me of the lesson I was just doing with my kids this morning on this. How we look at things is what gives it meaning. And we can choose to look at things from fear and judge, or we can say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I recognize it. And I'm going to take off these glasses and I'm going to put on the lens of love. And I'm going to try and look at it from that point of view.
Oh my gosh. Put on the lens of love it needs to be our theme song.
I love it. I'm sure Kaya and Axel would happily write a song.
Would you ask them to? Because I feel
Sure.
like put on the lens of love. Like, if there's anything you can get from Kim and I and Unapologetic Uplift, it's put on the lens of love, please. And self-love, it has to start there. And also, a little thing, side note on the whole complaining about friends and talking about people rather than ideas. I will tell you that friend that you have that you gossip with the most, where the two of you always talk about other people, I'm going to guarantee you, and you can come for me, but I'm going to guarantee you that friend talks about you to others in ways that are deprecating. It's it's impossible. If somebody has that habit, that's a habit, and
Yeah.
it's yucky. So I know that sometimes there are friendships. I've had friendships where it always starts with, "Oh my gosh, did you see what she said? Did you do what she?" And I have had to work to interject and stop that energy with, and then I have to ask myself, do we actually have a friendship? Is there something there? If we take that away, is there something there? And if there isn't, then I move on. If there is, yay, we get to have conversations that aren't just about other people, but that are about ideas and how we feel and and growth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And you can flip that script, right? Like if you notice that in somebody and you want to remain in a friendship with them, you can just simply say, I don't want to have these types of conversations. I want to talk about visions and the future, and let's brainstorm some creative ideas instead.
Yes, yes. And you'll be surprised. I mean, I've had that conversation with a few people who I had given them permission to gossip at me about others. And then I stopped. And when I stopped and I said to them, I know there was one particular conversation where I said, I don't want to hear any more about other people. And I don't want you to send me things that other people have said. I don't want you to copy and paste things that people have shared with you privately for me to be your witness to some rude behavior that's going on. I don't want that anymore. And I thought I could lose this friend over it. And instead, it was actually met with, you're right. I have to stop this. I'm so glad you said something. And that was a real blessing because I had put off that conversation. I was worried it's going to come off harsh or I'm going to sound like I'm no fun. Here's the thing. I am a pretty serious person. I also love comedy and I love to laugh, but I am a pretty serious person. And I think there's a part of me that's afraid to come off as too serious because people won't think that I'm fun. And there's a part of me that wants to also be the fun girl and not just serious. But it's hard when you see the world the way I see it, and I always see really deep things. It's hard sometimes, again, to be that fun girl. And I also am that fun girl and I want to be her. So I think that was what stopped me from saying it sooner. But in the end, it was great. And now we're having more fun than ever in that friendship because we're not deprecating others.
So beautiful. Yeah. And just really a perfect example of leadership and leading with love and compassion.
And
Yay,
I didn't,
you.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I wanted to ask you this question about because all of this, I think, speaks to being a powerful human and what is power and what is it? And we happen to be, you and I are women, and I feel we're powerful women. We're powerful moms. I mean, we could put lots of labels on what we are. We're powerful podcasters. We're powerful friends, but I love defining terms. And I think that defining what a powerful woman is interesting to me. And I saw Tressa, she's been on the podcast. She's amazing. She actually posed that question. What is a powerful woman to you? So I would love to ask you that. I'm asking you that. What is a powerful woman to you, Kim?
Oh, so many things. But what comes up first is a vulnerable truth teller. Telling the truth is vulnerable. It takes a deep vulnerability to always live your truth. And again, looking at things from that place, from the lens of love, like that's a brave thing to do. And it causes you to be even more vulnerable to not get defensive and to not harshly judge others and to be able to forgive and just look at people for where they're at and just meet them where they are rather than expecting everybody to be up here, be perfect, because Lord knows none of us are perfect.
Well, I agree with everything you said. And I feel like you just described yourself. And maybe that's the fun game in this, is that when you really, and if you're listening right now, I invite you to define what it is to be powerful to you. And then why don't you look at that, all the things that you said, and just say, and that's me. And I am those things, because you are all the things you just said, Kim.
Oh,
Play it
thank you.
back. I promise.
I certainly try. I certainly try to. Again, understanding that I'm not perfect and viewing viewing myself with compassion, I do try my best to live in alignment with those values, continue to learn, being open to learn. There's another part of vulnerability in that, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
recognizing that there's always more to learn.
Well, if we're not a work in progress, what are we? I mean, when are we ever done with self-improvement and with learning? And I just don't know how. I think that's one thing that's so amazing about human beings is our capacity to learn and grow. And like I've mentioned other episodes, I think that my mom, who's 82, I still watch her learn and grow and change and develop new skills and get rid of habits that aren't serving her. And she's 82. It never times out. That's what's so incredible. And I had a thought about power when I saw that question, not just what it is to be a powerful woman, but then I had to break it down to the word power. And I wrote this little thing, and I want to see what you think of this. Power is an energy that people are drawn to naturally that doesn't require manipulation. A resonance of light that can be recognized by any living being. Even trees bend to touch your shoulder when you exude true power.
Yeah. Which I think could all be summed up to authenticity.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that even trees bend, because I was just teaching my kids recently on a hike how to communicate with trees. Not that recently, in the summertime, but so now anytime we go out, they do get the trees to bend down to them and give them some love.
Isn't that amazing? So tell everyone what you mean by that, because I've seen these videos where people do this, but explain that.
Yeah, so you simply just talk to the trees, and I have taught my kids to put their hand out and just tell the tree that they love the tree and ask the tree to show them some love. So they literally stand there like, show me some love, show me some love. And the trees will come down and the leaves will brush your hand. I should share some videos of it. It is quite beautiful.
Yeah, it's true. And it seems like we're making this up, but there are a lot of videos showing this and proving it, and people saying, they didn't believe it, they were skeptical, and then they do that. Trees have an unbelievable way of communicating, and they communicate with each other. And there's the whole root system underneath, and then there's the leaves, and
Yeah.
there's mother trees. I mean, it's just so fascinating. And all of this is actually now scientifically provable. It's not even conjecture. It's not just something we say or do with our kids. It's actually, they're showing now these networks of energy that exist that can be tracked, and it's fascinating. And I feel like,
and also your energy has to be positive and pure and loving. If you have negative energy, the tree's not gonna. And I have even seen this with my kids when we have been out hiking and they're in a bad mood and they try it and they're like, oh, the tree doesn't love me today. And I'm like, well, let's shift our energy and get it and come from a place of love. And then magically, once we're able to do that, we're able to get love from the tree. It is quite miraculous, actually.
and that's the nonverbal communication, which all of us are capable of. And nonverbal communication, we're on a podcast, it's all verbal communication, but it also isn't. I think the most powerful communication I can do is the nonverbal, where I'm really consciously, I'd say, it's hard to describe this without sounding woo-woo, so no apologies, because it's Unapologetic Uplift.
We here for the woo.
I am, yeah. So it's beyond my physical form, and there's the aura that exists the aura of energy and light that exists around me that can go as far as my imagination can see it going, and then probably even further. when I'm in that space and I want to envelop someone with something positive, and I think I'm going to walk into this room and I'm going to walk in without saying a word and just have that energy out there, what I notice is people will turn to look at me and there's this instant recognition and smiles happen faster and
Yeah.
doors open faster. And that's nonverbal communication, but that's what you're doing with the trees.
Yeah, and a perfect way to explain this, it's energy. So this is actually how I teach my kids about energy is have you ever walked into a room and nobody says anything, but you can tell that there's somebody pissed off or really upset in the room? That is the perfect example. That is energy, and you can control that. In one of my psychic development programs I was in, learning how to read energy, she would make somebody it, and they would have to embody a specific emotion. And then we would have to, and do so in a subtle way. Like they couldn't be like, I'm mad, like just the energy of it. And then we would have to figure out who was it. But yeah, it's a fun thing to learn to be aware of. I mean, we're all aware of it, but you can harness it and become very sensitive to it and learn how to work with energy.
Yeah. And for instance, if you're going on a job interview or you're an actor and you're auditioning for a role, if you do this energetic practice of before I walk in there, I am going to be there's so much light around me. I'm walking in with just this beautiful light that people are going to want and be drawn to, and they're going to want to be around me. And it's just going to be the most highest loving vibration. I'm going to walk in with that. If you just imagine that, it is going to be felt by everyone in the room, no matter whether they know why or not. There's going to be something. And that, I think, has to do with when people say there's an it factor or because imagine the opposite.
Yeah.
Imagine before the interview, you're terrified because you can't keep the lights on or make your bills. And if you don't get this job, you're going to be out on the streets. And you walk in with that fear that is also felt.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is then people don't want to be around you, which is the exact opposite of what you need. You need that job. So even if you're in a desperate situation, that light is free to you and available to you at a moment's notice. That all you have to do is picture it. It's there for you. It's literally Glinda, the Good Witch, is saying, you've got the ruby slippers on all along. All you had to do was click your heels. And I'm telling you that everyone has that ability. And it does not matter.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last time, but it doesn't matter what's in your bank account because this is priceless and you can't put a price on it and you can't buy it if you wanted to, if you had all the money in the world. Nothing to do with that. It's energy.
Yeah. Love it. And you can shift your energy anytime you want. There are so many tools you can use to do it too, but this was great. I always love spending my Wednesdays with you, and I'm sad that I had to miss a few, but it's great to be back. And I think this is a great point to wrap it up.
Yeah. So if you got something out of this and you want to, please share this with a friend, with your family. We just love to be in conversation with you about things that are meaningful and little reminders of ways that we can help one another to get back to really self-compassion and which then it means we're going to be compassionate towards others and unapologetic in the ways that we get there, because it's going to be messy, it's going to be imperfect, and all of it is wonderful. And we love you, and thank you for being here. Yeah. And maybe we'll have a theme song from the kids. Ask them.
We might. And as always, we welcome your feedback. So leave us a comment and don't forget to subscribe. We will see y'all next Wednesday
with a special guest.
Woohoo! Thanks for joining us on Unapologetic Uplift. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share the love and tell a friend about us, and give us a review.
Please don't miss a thing. Subscribe to this podcast and explore our sponsors, Objects with Purpose, Eco Luxury Candles, and Divine Activation membership.
Objects with Purpose is more than an eco-luxury candle brand. They are time travel devices in the form of a candle.
Light the 3 wicks representing past, present, and future with the validation that you are exactly where you need to be. And if you're ready to raise your level of consciousness and step into your unapologetic, unfiltered, and unbothered era, join the Divine Activation membership at cuttingties.coach/queen. With 3 tiers to choose from, you'll find the perfect fit to support your transformation.
Thank you for your listening and love. We'll see you next Wednesday on Unapologetic Uplift.
Welcome to the Divine Activation membership, a movement for women that are ready to raise their consciousness and step into their unapologetic, unfiltered, and unbothered era.
With your heart, live authentically and become the magnet for all of your soul's desire.
Grow, connect with your heart and body, release unhealthy and unhelpful thought patterns, heal old wounds, create new neural pathways, and reprogram your subconscious with high-value beliefs so you can manifest the life you're meant for.
Ready to take a break from what's holding you back? Visit cuttingties.coach and join the Divine Activation membership today. Hey, unapologetic souls. I'm Ianthe Mauro, founder of Objects with Purpose, candles that touch the soul and the body. I've released a limited edition 3-wick candle collection in 3 fragrances inspired by a time in history. The Time Travel Collection, because scent evokes memory and lighting a candle can truly transport you to your highest self. Anytime.
Ianthe's candles are truly special, clean, safe, even for the body as a solid perfume or massage oil, and smell amazing. But what truly fills her heart is empowering others to be seen in their best light.
In 2020, when the 200 stores that sold my candles across the country closed their doors, I knew it was time to give back. I started guiding others to launch their own candle companies and design candles and fragrances for other brands as a way to share light in a dark time.
So why settle for just any conventional candle? Light the 3 wicks in each Objects with Purpose candle. You're supporting handmade in California, small batch, artisanal, eco-luxury, and treating yourself to a memory-evoking evolution. Visit ianthemauro.com to discover your next favorite candle. Let the olfactory experience inspire cherished memories.